G'day friends, welcome to the very final Mermay Day 31 for Mermay 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I am just gonna take it easy in my squeaky chair. I got back from work. My hair is exactly how it's been all day. Look at all this. Like these are waves. This is very Mermay waves. And then this one has been like a little tornado curl that kind of like spiraled up today, and it stayed the entire day. Something about my hair just stayed today, so I feel very, very happy about that. Thank you, hair. Oh, but everything's sore. Everything is sore. I got off that second parade and I was like, I can feel the concrete in my bones. So I'm just gonna rest up, take it pretty easy tonight. I do have to finish my collage club stuff because that's due tomorrow, so that's gonna be great. Sorry about getting this up kind of late. I don't think this is the latest that any of our mermaid videos have been up, but I still think it's gonna be up on the day, so that's at very least successful. Imagine I waited till the last day to actually fail the challenge. And I've been reading a lot of your comments too. It actually kind of made me sad. I really do enjoy doing these daily videos for you and being able to check in so often and so frequently. And I've had kind of like a really interesting, I don't want to say pivotal, experience throughout this month, but a lot has like changed internally about my thoughts about the future and my feelings and just my perception about things. And I have also been really fascinated with this thing that I heard a long time ago, that your perception is your reality, and that I think it was like a Navy SEAL or someone who worked in like some kind of, I don't know, Defense Force intelligence agency, was kind of talking about like a piece of really valuable training that they had that they think every civilian could benefit from. And he was talking about this idea that your perception becomes your reality. And so the way that you kind of contextualize and picture things, and the way that you're seeing them and the way that you're responding to them is all going to be affected by this perception of how it is, and that you can train your brain to perceive things well and more positively, and you can perceive, you kind of have a bit more control over that than you might think. And I guess people draw parallels to that, to like manifesting and stuff. That's not really something that I have ever looked too much into or have really been interested in, if I'll just be honest. But I like, there's a logical part of it that I think I really attach myself to, this idea that, the way you perceive things is the way that you're going to experience them, and, consequently, how you feel. And that if you do have some control over your perception of things, then can you set yourself up for a better life, or at least the perception of a better life, which, kind of in turn makes you feel better. And I guess, really been thinking about that this past month as I have moved into maybe a deeper understanding of what I think I want for my future, and a very not too distant future as well. Like it's all this stuff I'm thinking of that I want to be doing, or that I might be wanting to experience and change, is stuff that I want to do this year and next year. Like, it's not a 5 or 10 year plan that I'm going to work towards. So it's just been interesting to to have you join me through this month and this experience. Maybe one day I'll watch it all back and I'll think I was going on a bit of a crazy roller coaster of emotions, because I kind of was. But yeah, it's kind of sad to end it. Hopefully no one will be too upset. But I did love your comments and I did read them all, so thank you for that. Kind of a pressing theme to some of the comments was, could I drop any hints about Virtual Voyage 9? And I don't really have any hints. Part of me just wants to say it, but I also don't exactly have the dates, and so I just don't feel ready to say any of that. I will say that it's not like anything we've done before, in the sense that we've been using movies and stories from movies to be able to come up with our themes. And so the theme for this one is not from a movie, and it's not from a storybook, and it's not from anything. The theme is something unlike we've done before. The only other one I can think of, because even when we did Burtonville, we used the themes of Tim Burton's movies and TV show Wednesday, but we did Batman, and we did Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice, and all kinds of things to so they were still movies. The first virtual voyage we did, avant-garde was one of our ports of inspiration. So that theme was just more Christian Dior fashion illustration and a garden. It was, I think I was just wanting to make sure that I didn't do like 4 movies, because originally I don't think I wanted, I used them more as stories than I thought that they would be of movies. When I made my original list of all the themes that I thought I might want to do to bring into Virtual Voyage, I didn't think that they could only be movies, but I had tended to pick just movies. So yeah, it won't be a movie this time. So it'll be a lot more imaginative, I imagine. And I don't know. I'm excited because sometimes, as much as I love the movies and we talk about them beforehand, people aren't going in blind, not knowing which ones they are. There's inevitably, 1 or 2 themes that people are just like, I didn't really like that movie, or that's just really not for me. And maybe they disconnect a little bit from it. And even though I love it all, and I'm sure we'll go right back to movies after Virtual Voyage 9, I just wanted to try something different and see what would happen. So it should be exciting. And the skill level I think we're working at is very beginner friendly. I think if you have more skill, if you have kind of an intermediate skill, I think you'll be pushing yourself to create, I guess, more with that. But definitely nothing super advanced, which I'm kind of happy about too. I think it's always hard to put into the lessons and expect a really advanced result. I think giving over a lot of the material and the information, I think is great. And I think people can create a lot more advanced work, but I don't usually like to set that as my expectation, because it just doesn't, it tends to be super duper long and an arduous journey. And the information I give over is kind of the same, whether you do it at a basic level, a really intermediate level, or a really advanced level. So I usually tend to set my expectations a lot lower, then everyone's really happy with what they create. But I think it's very beginner friendly, and I'm excited to dive into it. I'm still working on all the content and putting all my thoughts together about it. Obviously, I've been very busy with Mermay, pardon me, so that's why I'm still not quite there yet, but I'm trying to solidify dates and everything too, and it's just so hard to know what dates I can be available, because now I'm scheduled 4 days a week over at Disneyland. Steve has his 4 days a week. Steve does his photography. So, Steve's pretty much just super solid booked, and I have pockets of time available, but I'm also floating the idea of doing some of those live streams by myself, not doing the big party live streams that, Steve and I do, but I just don't think I can do it. I don't know, I've never tried it before. We might have to do some test Zoom streams just to see if I can do it. I don't want to, though. I think it's too hard. I like to be able to just turn up and be hosted, and that works for me. So I will have to get someone else to do it. I'm not even going to bother with that. Thank you for hearing me figure that out on my own. But I'm really excited about that. Workshops have been something like somewhat of a staple since 2019. I think I put out the first one. And Virtual Voyages started in 2020, and they're a big part of what I do as far as business. The business of jlbCREATIVE is workshops. We have so many now that are just in circulation, and I don't ever really discontinue them. I don't really, I don't take them away and then re-release them. Something like that has floated in my brain before, especially with Virtual Voyage, but I don't know how many people would want to revisit something we've already done. I know some people in the course maybe would like to revisit it, or maybe finish up what they started the first time, but I don't know how many new people would join as well, so I didn't know if it would be something that I could do, but I've definitely thought about that before. I just don't really I just like the idea of once the course is done, for Virtual Voyage anyway, with the live components, I like it to be accessible and available, and so I don't know if the business model of, kind of hiding it away and re-releasing it the year later and doing it all again is really for me, even though it does seem to work for other people. But yeah, we like doing other things too. Sometimes we like throwing in a playtest Patreon here and there. Sometimes I like to go do my products. I'm really not in a product creating mood. It's just really dropped off for me. I don't know if I was ever super interested in creating products. I wanted the products that I wanted because I loved washi tapes and I love the stamp sets for what they are, and I do use the Collage Club, like the ephemera, the sticker sheets that I make with those. I use those like non-stop. So there are things that I definitely wanted, but I had never really wanted to be like an online store. I never really wanted to have a retail wing of my business. It was also something that just happened because when I wanted to do books of things that I'd done, like little books of my work or little books of, you know, Mermay or whatever we ended up, Inktober books, I wanted to be able to do that as well. So I've had these desire to create certain things every now and again and share those, but I've never wanted to be a big old store. I much prefer the workshops to kind of fund a lot of the business. So that's where I put a lot of my energy. Products are really fun, but I also just have a lot of what I want already. That's also really selfish of me too. You know, I only created the products because I wanted them, but I do have a, like, unless I just get an urge to create a whole new stamp set because I just want a whole new bunch of, you know, base stamps to play with, but I just did that with the Gorals set. But I think we might have sold out. Maybe I have to order some of those. We still have products available. The Etsy's still there, but, you know, I'm not creating a ton for that as well, which is sometimes why I think a playtest Patreon is fun, because it's just products for that, and it just seems like a cute little, you know, special limited edition type thing. Or the bento box that we did, goodness, remember that? Oof, those manufacturing windows were wild. But yeah, I'll be working on Collage Club tonight. Mermay, my final thoughts on the whole thing. I kind of knew from the beginning that if I could just manage to do all the drawings, everything else would fall into place, and it kind of did. So I'm glad I gave myself the little challenge of making the 31 videos. I've had a great time catching up with you and sharing more of my stories. I actually thought I would probably share a whole bunch else, and I thought I'd get Steve on here, but the month moved surprisingly quickly as well. For how much I feel like we packed in, I really feel like the month just flew by, and I'm really in the swing of things now with dancing a lot. Everything is sore, which is really fun, but I have some new opportunities coming up. Well, I have one little opportunity coming up that you'll see in the next couple of weeks, and that's keeping me really excited. I'm still not quite sure what's going on for like Halloween time, Christmas time. I'm really kind of booked out until August, so there may be a chance that I'll make it to Australia. Maybe not, I don't know. But Mermay was great. I'm going to keep using this journal until it's full, and then I'll shelve that. I'll of course give you a flip. I don't know if I'll give you a flip now because I'm still working on it. I'll decide whenever I want to flip it, but I'll go through it all and kind of give you a nice big old chatty flip, and then also probably a music only one, just because I always make that for people that don't want to listen to me ramble on. And I'm glad that I set it up the way I wanted to set it up. I'm glad that years ago I really, you know, figured out how to make challenges work for me, because they really don't feel a lot like challenges. They just kind of feel like, you know, projects that I'm working on that I don't feel guilty for spending my time working on. Because there are other things I do that are just personal things, and a lot of the times I do feel guilty if I've sacrificed some other work to do those things. Guilt is, it's not in that weird way that I think it's easy just to say, oh, don't feel guilty about that. You should have some time for yourself. Like, yeah, sure. But, you know, some of these things I really am like really sacrificing important work to go and do, and they're really just not that important. But I like to just know that I can break my own rules sometimes. So it's important for me to do that, but within reason. But this, you know, when I tell myself, oh, it's Mermay and I'm doing the daily videos and it's all a part, you know, it's a part of what I do here on YouTube. So it actually, there's a work factor to it. It's a whole lot easier for me to justify getting in the table and drawing for 3 hours and not really worrying about it. Because realistically, did I have to do any of this? No. Is it really going to boost any part of my business? Absolutely not. It's just something I wanted to do that I can do justifiably guilt-free. So that is always a win and a bonus for me. Did I learn anything from the challenge? No, I don't think so. I guess that I'm kind of okay using, I guess I'm really back into hardcover journals. That's kind of a thing I might maybe learn. And that I don't mind all the terrible, it's not terrible, but it's not mixed media quality paper. It's just regular paper. I didn't mind all of the kind of bleed throughs, the tearing, the weird pooling and dappling. Like, I just didn't mind any of that. I think really setting myself up, being allowed to do that and being allowed to just go with the flow of it helped a lot. And I was encouraged to be a little bit more free and creative. And I mean, we kind of know this, and we've definitely talked about it in the past, but you know, the cheaper some of those art supplies get, or the less precious they are, the more free I feel to kind of create with this reckless abandon, which is a very stimulating creative play. Like, never underestimate what you might be capable of achieving when you really let go. But it is hard. I mean, it's even if you tell yourself, no, I'm gonna get all my supplies out and I'm gonna let go, and then you kind of freeze and you're like, I don't get it. I want to, I've decided to, I'm ready to, but I just can't. Like, what is it? What's in the way? It could be a whole host of things, but I really felt like, you know, I had the mermaid. I wanted to draw the mermaid or do the mermaid, and I just wanted to have a good time. And the more expressive I got with a lot of it, like the more painterly I got, the more I pushed the paint around with my hands and ripped a part of the page off and, you know, completely painted over a face and started again, the more I felt like I was getting to a good place. Even if the piece itself didn't look particularly good, it felt a lot better to do stuff like that. And then the times that I just felt like drawing just for old time's sake, I just draw, because I just love to draw. So I don't think I learned anything groundbreaking, but certainly a few things I'll hold on to for this season while I'm enjoying them. I've become a very, like, I would say kind of seasonal type of creative. You know, I just, or like fair weather, I kind of blow with the wind. Wherever I feel like going, that's where I end up going. And if I want to use pencils and I want to make everything really smooth and flat and burnish the pencil into the page, like, I might do that for a couple weeks, couple of days, few hours, who knows. I just really let that intuition take over, and I've been much happier doing that for the past few years that I've, you know, kind of let myself do that. The cover, I really like the plastic cover, so I've got another journal that I'm working on that's also an upcycled Daisy Ween hardcover book that I'm making into a journal. I think I'm going to get another one of those plastic covers. It was a little bit of a nightmare to melt it onto the front, but I'll figure it out again. And I just really love this journal as a whole. There's a part of me that wanted to scan it and make it into a little book that I could put in my store, because it's just been so fun to look at and flip through. But there's a lot of branded stuff in there. There's a lot of like just random stuff I would have to cover up, and so I don't know if the experience would quite be the same of, you know, buying it and then not having it actually be the replica. We did that once in a Playtest Patreon Happy Mailer box. I made a replica of my sketchbook, and I made a really tiny version of it, and I loved that. I just thought it was such a cute little idea, and you know, I love to share my journals with you, and I think the ultimate way to do it is to make a copy of the journal and make it purchasable, but couldn't do that with this one, I don't think. So we'll just have to do the flip through and hopefully put some beautiful photos on Instagram. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna upload this video and wrap this bow up and call this really nice and neat and done. I hope you had a great Mermay. If you participated, I hope that went well for you. And if you didn't, I hope you just enjoyed watching it all unfold. And if you're here from nowhere and you have no idea what I'm talking about, happy Mermay to you too. Don't know what my next challenge will be. Maybe I'll bring back Daisy. Maybe we'll bring back Daisy Ween or something. Because I think there was a year we missed Daisy Ween. Wasn't there? Did I even do it last year? I don't think I did it last year. I'm so lazy. Why did I not do that? I don't like it when I take a year off something, and because then I think it's not been every year, so it's not a tradition, but then I don't want to restart it, because then I'm restarting from 1 or 0, and there's technically like a small history of it. Does it make sense? So I'm an idiot for doing that, but anyway, whatever. Challenges. I think people's ideas about challenges have really changed over time too. I want to say that after that huge Inktober copyright controversy, I think a lot of people dropped off doing that particular challenge, which was kind of sad. I think that one was probably the biggest one that I remember, and has been around for the longest as far as I can remember. But Mermay is kind of the one that like takes the prize for me. It's just so me. I just love Mermay. So it's been a great month. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again for regular YouTube videos starting next Friday. Actually, I'll probably have a collage club video up at some point as well, but I'll be back to regular Friday videos, just doing anything and everything I love to do around art journaling and what I get up to in this studio and all my little creative endeavors. So I can't wait to show you a new video next week. It won't be Mermay, but it'll be something else, and I will see you then. Unless you're in collage club, I'll probably see you before then. Okay, goodbye everyone.